Oh god. Look at that. Check that out.
How's it going, everyone? You're watching the Green Dream Project. Jim here. And today's video is going to be about discouragement. It happens. It happens to everyone. Probably more so for people on the homestead because we're doing large projects, sometimes things we've never done before. Yeah, there's going to be discouraging times. Take a look at what we're doing out here. Took us a couple iterations before getting an idea of what we wanted to do for the solid foundation of these posts. But now we think we got it. We're going to meet up with Jessica, and we're going to talk a little bit about discouragement. All right, so we're back here. We're with Jessica over here, one of our other favorite chat spots, the water tanks. Wanted to take a little moment and talk about discouragement because, man, it happens to everyone. Doing homesteading, being on YouTube, there are definitely times where you feel discouragement. And we've had a lot of times out here when we've been discouraged. Yeah, not everything's perfect. And especially not out here. We're learning a lot as we go along, and there's been a lot of learning lessons out here. Yeah, we've had our discouragements, even like right when we first moved out here, right?
Right. So we didn't have our photovoltaic system set up at that time. And we were running on a generator for all of our electricity needs. And our first time using a generator.
Like we were running the generator with propane, and I guess we just assumed that these little tanks might be sufficient to run it for, I don't know how long we expected those tanks to run, but it was just those little tanks that you get at outside of your gas stations or your Walmart or stuff like that. And it's really not meant to run a generator for any length of time. It's meant for like your little gas grills and stuff like that. Yeah, we were shocked that because it was just running through these things like crazy, and we're like, oh, this is not going to work. We need to think of something else, you know, because I was thinking, man, what a deal. It was at Walmart. That's way cheaper than the gas stations, but then I found out that's not a deal either. The Walmart prices are a crazy ripoff. If you need to run a generator on propane, you need to get a tank to get it filled up somewhere, or have a tank where it comes to get it filled. You can't just do those swap things. That's way too expensive. You even made a joke on that, right? I mean, you were kind of made a joke, but you were kind of serious. You were like, should we go back to that RV park? There was a point where you might have thought like, hey, maybe we went out a little too soon, right? But I was like, hang on, we can make this work. Let me think about it. We'll work through this problem, and we did. Well, what's another thing that?
Well, when we were building that Humanure hacienda.
Oh, you're gonna bring up the Humanure hacienda, aren't you? Yeah, this was a big discouragement to me. Again, it was one of the first builds we did out here, and my mistake wasn't in the construction of it. It was using material that was not suitable for the winds. We picked up some scavenged material. It was old 1x1 wood, and I was using that for the purlins, and it was not suitable. Once those high winds kicked up, it just ripped those tiny boards apart, and the whole roof came flying off. And luckily no one got hurt, but someone could have seriously gotten hurt from that. So that was a huge lesson learned. You know, always make sure you're getting, you can use repurposed material, but make sure it's good quality repurposed material. Nothing really old and brittle. That was a dangerous one though. That was a big discouragement, but I since learned a lot from that, and these projects since then have been a lot better quality, I think.
Another issue was some of the wildlife. We're eager to get things growing out here, but we didn't have a lot of infrastructure. So I planned out a few things just to have something going, and eventually the javelinas found it.
And they tore up that area pretty good. We're lucky they didn't actually root up the trees or anything like that.
Mm-hmm. It's bad because, they not only eat the plants down. They kind of root with their snouts and dig up the roots. So that was bad.
Yeah, so on one hand, we're eager to get things growing. But on the other hand, if we don't get any kind of protection set up, it's gone. Between the javelina, the deer, the rabbits, it'd be rough going. There'd be no protecting it. There'd be nothing left for us. And for any content creators out there, YouTube. I guarantee you almost everyone probably on here knows what I'm talking about with that. You know, there are obviously some people that probably just hit it right out of the gate right away. You know who you are, Elk and Anchor. But we can't all be that good. A lot of people struggle, especially at first. We struggled for quite a while, and it just seemed like a struggle for every subscriber. You know, I guarantee you a lot of people know what I'm talking about for that. You get past that eventually, you know. You just keep at it. The thing is to keep at it. You know, we were fortunate enough to have gotten brought into the larger homesteading community, and that really helped us out a lot of support, a lot of encouragement. Mm-hmm. This segues into, exactly how you got to deal with discouragement. And I'll tell you the first thing, and I kind of talked about it a little bit, having a support system. So both of us can get discouraged at some point in time, but luckily we both have not been discouraged at the same time. Usually it happens to one of us or the other, and then the other one can kind of support the other. But that's part of how it is, right? Having a support system in place. It doesn't have to be a significant other, although it's nice if it is. You know, it can be friends, YouTube community.
Yep. Family members.
Especially people with like-minded interests. Find people that are maybe doing the same thing, that are going through the same thing, and definitely reach out to them.
People who can lift you up.
People that have gone through that. You know, don't be afraid to reach out to anyone. There's probably very few people that would be jerks enough to turn you down and be like, you're on your own, fool. You know, most people are willing to step in there and at least lend some helpful words of encouragement, you know. Don't do it by yourself. Or you can, but, you know, it's a little harder. There's some techniques. So definitely one of the things that I like to do is to keep a positive mindset. And that's not always easy sometimes. You struggled with that for quite a while, right? You kind of grew up with a lot of negativity, and you had a negative mindset.
Right, and struggling with depression, anxiety.
And I fought through a lot of those same things myself, but you can change all that. And if you keep like a positive attitude toward things, you'd be surprised at how some of the little things just, you can shake it off really easy. Mm-hmm. Instead of letting those build up on you.
But how do you have a positive mindset?
I don't know. Little daily mantra. I'm good enough. I'm strong enough. And doggone it, people like me. Keep your hands to yourself, Al.
I think part of it is taking whatever you're frustrated with and finding the positive thing about it. Like, even if it's like, well, you know, I messed this up, but at least I learned something for next time.
Definitely always learn from misfortunes. I learned something from that shall not be named. You can forget about it later. Just learn something from it and make sure you keep that lesson.
Right. Something that you're good with is having a sense of humor about things. It really makes that discouragement a lot easier if you can just laugh it off.
Yeah, sometimes that's not always the easiest either, but sometimes you need to have a sense of humor. That really helps in developing that. Sometimes when you come up to those challenging situations, sometimes it's better just to laugh, even if you just make yourself laugh. And you'd be surprised at how it elevates the mood and changes your thinking. And taking a step back from those problems too. I've seen people and they're attacking problems and then they get discouraged and frustrated, and then it just makes it harder to get those problems solved.
You're so worked up that it makes it harder to even think clearly.
When it gets to that point and you say, oh, you know what, I'm really getting frustrated, this is not going well. Sometimes just leave it alone. Take a break, even if it's a small one, maybe it's a little bit longer one.
Sometimes an answer will just come to you if you just relax and step back.
Just take those few moments, come back to it with a fresh start.
I think it also helps, especially in a situation like ours, where you're building a homestead. You got some huge task at hand, but you're working on this one problem and you get discouraged with that. If you step back and think about your end goal and why you're doing it, and just the passion that you have for that, it helps keep you going on.
So yeah, keep in mind the big picture, the end goal, and let that keep pulling you on rather than just whatever horrible little thing is going on at that moment.
And it's good to have compassion for yourself and for other people, because sometimes other people can be really frustrating and you can't really control what they're thinking or doing.
I hear you on that. You can't control other people. But yeah, compassion, because other people have their own lifetimes of experience and troubles that they bring to the game, and you don't know what those are. Sometimes you have to deal with other people, but just knowing that, hey, I don't know what this person's been through in their life. Maybe I can cut them some slack, just as long as they're not really big jerks.
Don't forget to have compassion for yourself too, because sometimes we're our own worst critics. And take it easy on yourself sometimes.
Yeah, I know what that's like. And that's a big problem that I deal with, you deal with. I'm sure a lot of people deal with it. Especially, you doing the work, you see all the problems firsthand, so you know what it's like. But just don't be so hard on yourself. Take it easy, okay? You're cool, and we love you. Love yourself. Alright? That's it. Don't be discouraged. The Green Dream Project has your back. If you like this video, please give it a big thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed, please do. We'd love to have you around. Don't be discouraged. Share it with a friend or two. Get the word out about what we're doing here, because people love the encouragement.
And you can leave a comment down below. We want to hear about how you deal with discouragement. If you have any other tips too.
Please do. We want to hear about that.
And you can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter.
Catch you in the next video, everyone. Later. Should I keep doing the camera slap? Camera slap! Ah!